Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Audrey Schott, and I work with the Montana Rural Health Initiative. The mission of the RHI is to engage partners and share ideas and expertise and to support communities in improving health while stimulating a higher level of wellness across the state. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar with Shape Up Montana, presented by Sandford Gall and Taryn Struck. Taryn is the Executive Director of Montana Amateur Sports Incorporated and Big Sky State Games. She has been the executive director for the last 17 years. Prior to that, she served as the University of Wyoming Athletic Department Outreach Director and as the marketing director of the Casper Event Center. During her time with the state games, they have developed Shape Up Montana, Big Sky Fit Kids Clubs, the Yellowstone Elementary School Cross Country Meet, and taking on management of the Heart and Soul Run. Karen serves on the National Congress of State Games and Montana Women's Run. She has recently concluded board service for the National Federation of State High School Associations and the Billings YMCA. Taryn Struck is the operations director for Montana Amateur Sports. She has an extensive background in entertainment, health and wellness, event development, and production. Taryn is also a professional dance fanatic, behavioral change coach, and will soon be a certified yoga instructor. Before we get started today, I just would like to go over a few technical details with everyone. If you would please mute your lines now so we don't have any background noise, and if you have questions at any point during today's presentation, Karen and Taryn have decided that you ask them away at any point or hold them till the end. That is just fine. And if you don't want to ask your question over the line live, you may submit questions to me through the questions box, and we will hold those questions until the end and have a Q&A session with our presenters. So with that, Karen and Taryn will take it away.
Are our slides showing now?
They should be in just a second.
Okay.
You'll get that little window. Perfect, we can see your slides.
Okay, great. We'll get started. Well, thank you so much for attending today. We're excited to share with you an opportunity that a lot of people across Montana participated in for a number of years. This is the 12th edition of Shape Up Montana. Just a little background on our organization. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. We started Shape Up Montana more than 12 years ago when we started working on the project. We knew that we were reaching a lot of people through the Big Sky State Games, but there were a lot of folks who we weren't reaching that we felt could use a team format and something fun to achieve their wellness goals, and maybe eventually they'd even participate in the Big Sky State Games. We hold the program each year, February 1st through May 1st, and as I said, it's a team wellness program. The team format, we did that really because of the state games format of sport, and we know a lot about the success of a team format, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But the program itself is a 3-month team wellness program where people are actually signed up in 2 divisions: weight loss or physical activity, where they're tracking their physical activity. And it's funny, through the years of our program, when we started this, the Atkins diet was very popular, and a lot of people were focused on the weight loss component. And we've learned throughout the years in working with a lot of wellness people and health folks, experts, we know that we're much more focused on the physical activity tracking, but we still offer the weight loss component. Through our surveys and our completion rates at the end, we know that with the accumulated activity people that are tracking, we get about an 80% completion rate on our program. Those that are in the weight loss, not near as good. It's more like 50 to 60%. So there's a big drop-off. If people aren't seeing success on the scale, sometimes they drop out of programs, and we know how that goes with New Year's resolutions. So we encourage people to participate in the accumulated activity side, although we do offer the weight loss, and in tandem they can be very successful. The format itself, there's the 2 divisions I mentioned, but the accumulated activity where people are tracking their physical activity, and everything converts into mileage. Like if you are, which we all have been doing a lot in Montana lately, shoveling snow, that counts as physical activity, and we actually have a calculator on the website that will calculate if you did it for 20 minutes, you get so many miles. If you do housework, you get so many miles. And we started with that kind of a format because we wanted to show folks that everything they do in their daily activity, being physical, adds to and helps and benefits them. And then we hope to push them toward maybe thinking about walking a little more, cycling, running, swimming, those kinds of activities. But we're rewarding people for their daily activity and getting people being mindful of taking the stairs, mindful of maybe walking, parking their car, walking further to work, those kinds of things, mindful exercise. The different divisions, our probably most popular division is the beginner division, where of the members have less than 3 years of exercise experience. Now, you could have someone on your team, maybe there's 8 on your team, and some of them have been exercising for years, that's fine. Just what the majority of your team does. The whole program is based on your honor, so it's we just want people to fit into the category that is most like the majority of their team. The intermediate division, where maybe they have been exercising for about 3 years, they routinely walk or are mindful of being fit and they're working out to some degree. The experience categories, where these folks are, maybe they're training to run a marathon, or they're doing 5Ks and 10Ks in the spring, and they cycle or they swim. Those are those kind of folks. A number of years ago, we added a family division, and that was just really out of demand from our participants. They wanted to, maybe they had a relative in Kentucky or a relative in Wyoming, and we said, absolutely, it can be folks from outside of Montana, and they're supporting each other in that setting of being on a team, and so we absolutely allow that, the family division. And just to add, anybody can be from any state. Big Sky State Games is predominantly Montana-based. We allow our surrounding states without state games to participate, but Shape Up Montana is for anyone. So if you have somebody in Alaska or Europe or Taiwan, we don't care if they're on your team, that's just fine. The weight loss, pardon me, where did I go? Okay, the weight loss division, I mentioned that a little bit. Those folks that are participating in that, they report on their honor weight, but we do encourage the entire team has to do weight loss. And so if somebody wants to be just on an activity team, we would encourage them to be on another team. An activity team can also do weight loss, and but the entire team has to agree to do it, but it doesn't cost anything more. So, and we did that a couple years ago, just trying to improve people's experience and also their rate of completion so that they could reach their wellness goal. Prizes and incentives are a big part of the program. I'm going to let Taryn talk a little bit about that, and it's something that doesn't necessarily make the program work, but it makes it more interesting.
And we also know when someone is first starting to work out for the first time, if they're in the beginner division, sometimes it's nice to be externally motivated, so that's why we also do a lot of prizes along the way. It does help with the motivation aspect. So the first 500 team captains will receive a $10 field gift card and a KOA value card rewards membership. Throughout the program, we also do drawings weekly, and this is done based off random drawings if you have done a certain percentage of logging in for your team. Oh, our slide's going crazy here. Okay, out medals as well as prizes to those top 3 teams that average the most miles logged per person over the program. And like I said, weight loss as well, for those that lose the highest percentage of weight over the 3 months. And all of this is based on honor. So your weight is, when you type your weight in, it's confidential, it's on your honor. So that's the whole program, basically. Yeah, so that's basically in a nutshell all the fun prizes that we give out. There's a lot of other fun perks that go along with this program. One thing that I absolutely love is we have, oh, I gotta list this. We have a free health club week that I absolutely love because it gives participants an opportunity to shop around different clubs in their area and try them for free. If you like them, see if you like the environment, maybe you might like their classes. And if you do like it, then that's the time for you to maybe sign up. So it's just nice to be able to shop around at different places for free. Some other major perks that we have with this program is everyone gets a free training t-shirt. It's always kind of nice, just something you can wear when you go to the gym, or you can wear it to your free health club week. We are also implementing this year a new virtual walk run 5K. This is kind of cool. Everyone will be able to download their race bib online and get out that week and see what they can do for 5K. You can walk it, you can run it. It's up to you. Like I said earlier, we do challenges every week, and those challenges are all, they're from different aspects of health. Some might be, hey, try this new recipe this week. Another challenge might be, hey, try this yoga workout this week. Here's a fitness video that goes with it. So all of our challenges are pretty fun. They're all, like I said, that goes across the board for anything that's health related. It's not just a workout every time. Physical activity charts, that's on your dashboard. So when you are logging your miles online, you can see yourself as well as your team members' miles. And if someone's like, hey, they're not getting their miles in, it's nice to have a little motivation and teamwork there to say, hey, let's get our miles together, let's all walk together today, and then you can see everyone's miles on there. It's just fun. This year we're also implementing fitness videos from Montana experts. We have experts from anywhere from the YMCA to a local yoga studio, a bunch of places from across the state. They're great videos. They're so excited to be part of this year. So we're really excited about that aspect of it. And another awesome perk that we get this year is personalized weekly meal plans and recipes through e-recipes. And this is on behalf of Billings Clinic. Anyone can go in, log in, and based on what they need for their nutrition, they can basically pump out any kind of nutritional meal plans that they want for the week and shopping grocery list. So if you want to eat gluten-free or you want to maybe eat more vegetarian, you can get a whole meal plan that's customized for you. So those are just some additional new resources and perks that we have this year that we're pretty excited about. And with that, we'll have many of the things that we've done in the past, like a lot of different access to a lot of different wellness calculators. I mentioned the conversion, the conversion where you can convert anything into miles. That's on there, as well as the BMI calculator and other wellness calculators that people will have access to throughout the entire program. The reason we want to talk to you today about why this works and why I think people look forward to Shape Up Montana, and about kind of the teams that have been most successful and why it's worked for them. And first and foremost, we know nationally the workplace wellness is on the rise, and it behooves employers to look at improving their employees' health or offering them opportunities to be healthier and creating a healthier work environment. We know that it lowers healthcare expenses. We know that a healthy employee is a more productive employee. And even if it is an employee that has many, many risk factors, by even taking small steps to improve their health, those folks are actually the ones that are identified as showing the most improvement toward not only their health, but being a more productive employee. They're less likely to be absent from work, or at least as often. Also, it builds morale
other than just having them expecting things from them. When they know you've got their best interests at heart, you want them to be healthy, and employees really respond to that. They're more prideful about the place that they work. They become more trustful of the organization, and really are more committed to the organization. And in the time that we live in now, the world is a changing, folks, with the millennials, where they that's a generation that will be job shopping more often. So anything to incentivize people to stick around, and people are looking for a work experience, not just a place where they can just work and not feel appreciated. So an employer that shows their appreciation, not only by providing them health care insurance and those kinds of things, but by just creating an environment of wellness, is an employer that is far more appreciated. The data also shows, and we found this with state games, that people like coming together. You know, and I don't cotton to this, but when people say your best years are your years of high school or that kind of thing, I don't, believe that. But I know that what people take away from that short period of time, high school and college, it's that team environment many times where they either participated in a sport team setting or a club, any organization that brings a small group of people together working toward a common goal. They're more likely to, all people in the group are more likely to have success. Now, I'm not saying that every member of the team needs to have the same goal. We're not all training to run a marathon. We're not all training to, swim, or they don't have to work out together. They can work out together, but just supporting each other, that they have a shared goal of supporting each other in their wellness, is a real positive. And sometimes it helps bring people along who may not be too excited about participating in a wellness program, or feel a little bit embarrassed about the state of their health. We know that by working with a group, the registration in a wellness program works. The team format, more people will participate in an organization. We also know that evaluations increase at the conclusion. We do a survey at the conclusion of Shape Up Montana and of our participants, and we know that the completion rate is very high in the program, and we think the team format is a big reason why. The number one reason on an annual basis has been, or number two, and usually it's been number one, why did this program work for you? It's because they didn't want to let their team down, or how did. So we know that they're accountable, being accountable to a team. The team format creates that accountability. People are more likely to reach their goals, their own health goals, by participating in a team format, and also just by observing others. So if in a team setting, if you see someone else working harder, or taking the lunch hour to walk, or having walking meetings instead of sitting down and eating a donut or something, folks are more likely, it motivates them to pursue their own goal, even if those folks don't reach their end goal if it's a certain mile point, but it helps them change their behavior and move toward that kind of a lifestyle, more healthy lifestyle. The reason why I think Shape Up Montana works is because it's very simple. We're not telling people, we're not training people to do an Ironman, that kind of thing. It's introducing them to changing simple activities is a way to introduce people to good behavior, a good, healthy lifestyle behavior. And then we're hopeful that it carries on. The other thing that I didn't put on the PowerPoint, that it seems to resonate in Montana, with us being in the northern climes, these are the months of low light. And we know that people are more homebound during that time because there's the lack of light, and it sort of helps motivate people to get through those months. And then we're in our highlight season when when there's a lot of light and people are outside. So it gets people through the months where there's inclement weather and there's lack of light, and safety is an issue. People don't feel as safe. So we're trying to get people to either get to a health club or some place where they feel safe, whether it's with their team, during the lunch hour, walking, that kind of thing. We've worked hard over these 12 years to make it very user-friendly, the registration system, and how people also log on and get on their dashboard. So we'd be happy to explain that. But once the team is registered, each individual will get an email telling them how to get on their dashboard. And maybe, Taryn, if you want to mention something about that.
Basically, once the team captain registers all the members, each member will receive an activation email, and basically all they have to do is click on a link on that email, which will take them to the Shape Up Montana site for them to set up their password. Everybody's username will be their email address, and then password is up to you to create. But it's very, very easy. It's been improved over the years, and it's the best it's ever been. So we're really excited about the website and the friendliness of it.
We also know that people are more likely to stick with something that they enjoy, and so we're trying to help them find their joy in fitness. And so we reward with the mileage on basically anything physical activity. So if you love to dance your heart away, and we'll convert it into mileage for you. So we're trying to help people find that. Taryn had mentioned the Health Club Week. We have many participants in the program that have never been a member of the health club or some kind of a workout group and that type of thing. And with this Health Club Week that takes place in March, we visit with health clubs across the state, and all different kinds of things, from yoga centers to YMCAs and the full gamut. And those that are interested in participating, we will post those, and folks can go in during that week and check it out and see, get them in the door so their comfort level is, the people in those organizations will be helping them and looking out for them during that week. And so it will give them the opportunity to maybe see, oh yeah, I do fit in here, I do feel comfortable here. We have a great relationship with many of these organizations, and we definitely support what they're doing on a year-round basis. So they're really partners. We're partners with those folks. The program also is very affordable, just $15, and it's $10 for employees of any one of our sponsors. So, and that is quite a few different employers across the state, but it's just $15, and you get all the things that Taryn mentioned earlier. The other thing I didn't mention, for companies, we're able to provide data to the company if the team signs up as their company. So it's a First Interstate Bank. We're able, and then their team name, Old Bankers and Speedos, or they come up with fun names. But if they start off with the First Interstate Bank, or even there's a box to check, or they can write what company they're with. We can track for that organization if they have 5 teams. We'll track how they do throughout and be able to give them that data at the completion.
Which is kind of nice as an employer to see what all your people are doing in your office. We'll give you that report at the end of the month, and if you want to even do in-house incentives for whatever teams are doing great in your company, that's also another way you can approach this program. So yeah, we give you all of those reports and data if you have 5 teams or more.
The program, when it started, we talked a little bit about it at the conclusion. We give medals for the participants, the top 3 in each different category, and that's just in the spirit of state games. But most of our rewards and things are just for participation, and so it's kind of drawing based. Sometimes competitions work, sometimes competitions can go wrong, and I'm just kind of letting people know that if you, sometimes a competition, people in work where they're pitted against each other, they excel at it and have fun, but just caution to tell people to, participation is really what we're trying to reward. We are excited about the interesting challenges that we'll offer this year. They're just a way for people to get bonus miles. If they click on and say, yeah, I'm going to do the challenge this week, so on a weekly basis they can click and say, I'm doing the challenge, and Taryn mentioned some of them. They'll be different from what we've done in the past, but you know, old ones have been things like, oh, I'm going to agree every day this week I'm going to park farther away. We're trying to get people to engage more with us and let us know how they did or what they recommend, those kinds of things. But if they click on the challenge, they'll get bonus miles. We also have great weekly information that they'll be getting, and it's, you know, we're going to condense it, make it be what people will read, not such a lengthy article that they'll be bored with it. But some of the folks that we're working with, we have a nationally renowned registered dietitian who will be giving us information. Dale Hayes is who we're working there. And we'll have, as Taryn mentioned, workouts. So a video that these health clubs, so people can click on and go, I'm going to try that exercise, so that'll be fun. And they're experts in their field. So we're trying to work with Montana experts and, you know, share with the citizens of our state. Did you want to add something, Taryn? We mentioned that incentives, we feel that they're fun. One incentive we didn't mention, prize, is Albertsons for years has given us fruit and veggie trays. So sometimes the incentive would be, we send you a fruit and veggie tray incentive if you recorded that week your team did, and you can share that over a coffee break or something, over a staff meeting. So we try to just healthy alternatives. We also know the world that we live in is a fast food world, and so we're not saying, you know, we're not anti-anything really. We just want people to know there's healthy ways to eat at those places, and we worked with Wendy's, who will give us healthy lifestyle or healthy meal coupons to give out to each participant in the program. So whether it be a $2 off or something off a salad. So when you have to eat out, there are healthy alternatives. We just want to keep reminding people of that they, this is the world we live in. We just need to create opportunities for physical activity, and if we're eating out, there are opportunities to eat healthy, even if you're eating fast food. The biggest reason why I think the program is successful is because of the accountability side, and it creates accountability to yourself where you're actually putting down what I did on this day. I did this. It's not beating yourself up. Sometimes people feel beaten up about weight if their weight isn't going the direction that they want it to. The activity side is building yourself up, like, look what I did today. Well, tomorrow, the next day, I fell off a little bit, but the next day I know I can do better. So it's kind of that, today I only got 5 miles, and I really want to get 10K a day. I really want to get that 6.2. So, you know, working a little harder, pushing yourself, stretching yourself a little bit, becoming very mindful of what you do. So you're being accountable to yourself. And we don't want people to beat themselves up. We want them to have fun. But then you're also accountable to your team. And we do have one of the challenges that Taryn has made fun is dance that we do, that the team can actually do a dance. And go ahead, Taryn.
Yeah, we call it the Shape Up Montana Jam. And every year it's a new choreography. It's very, very easy to learn. So what we do is we put the dance out there on video so you can learn it step by step, and then get together with your team, and then you video yourself doing the dance, and then you submit that to us. And last year we had a lot of really, really awesome, fun dances to watch. So that's just one example of, you know, a group challenge that you can do together.
The team can also, one of the challenges is to do something together as a workout.
Work
and
out
so,
together as a team.
yeah, it doesn't have to be the jam, but it can be the jam and something else. So a lot of times employers ask us, well, when we started the program, this was their wellness program, and it can be a great start to a wellness program for an organization, particularly a small organization. They can say, yes, we support our employees participating in Shape Up Montana. But we really encourage, what we've learned over these years is that the organizations that are the most successful are from the top to the middle to the entry-level employee. Everybody's on board. But if the employees know that everyone in this organization, including my boss and all the leadership team, believes in wellness, workplace wellness, and supports it, that organization is more likely to succeed in any workplace wellness endeavor that they do. And I'm not just solely focused on workplace wellness here. I know there's a lot of teams that are church-based and just book clubs and fun things like that, but a lot of our teams are workplace-based. We also know that when starting a program like Shape Up Montana oftentimes creates in an organization where they become aware of some of the pitfalls of their organization, whether it be all the junk that's in the candy machine, that maybe they don't need that candy machine anymore in the organization, or creating opportunities for people to either join a health club and the organization pays for part of it, supports it. It creates an opportunity for an organization to look at themselves very holistically and say, how can we do better? How can we make the stairwells safe and attractive for people to consider taking the stairs if you're in a building that has an elevator? Those kinds of things. We also know that scope, relevance, and quality are important to a wellness program, and people are not going to stay engaged unless it's well thought out and well done, but and keep them engaged and valued. So we just support all those things. We've had people say to us, why don't you do this year-round? We'd like you to do it year-round. And what we found is this program lasts and should last about as long as a team is together. And that's, if you look at any sport team, if you've got a high school basketball, that's the season right now, or a wrestling team, that's about how long, or swim team, that swimming's going on right now as well, that's about how long a team sits together, is 3 months. And then they disband and move on to their next activity. And so that's why we really feel like we can keep the interest level in this program for a good 3 months. Some people will continue on, and there's other places that they can do that. But by then, the weather's good in Montana, and they're out wanting to meet their goals, hike in the mountains with their family, those kinds of things. The other reason why I think our program works well with a wellness program is affordability. This is a low income, and I mentioned that earlier, but I have to tell companies, those that have been successful with wellness are those that maintain what they, or sustain what they create. And we've had a number of companies over the years who have kind of out of the starting blocks have said, okay, we're going to offer this for our employees, and we're going to give them, we're going to pay for it, we're going to give them a pedometer, we're going to do all these things, and they have great employee participation, and then the next year they say, well, we can't afford it this year, and they take that away. The perception to the employee is, you have just removed a benefit, and you aren't going to make me do this. I don't have to do this. This is my time. And so you've kind of, an organization that does that, really, it takes a long time to kind of build that morale back up and that trust level. So I always tell companies or our HR people that we deal with, if you're going to offer that you're going to pay the full amount for $15 for the employee to participate, or if you're going to give them an incentive and a day off if they complete the program, you better commit to like 5 years of doing this, or you really have done a disservice to your organization. I think incentives should be fun and something people look forward to, but that's not a reason why they should participate in the program because the company's paying for it. The reason why they should participate in this program is because they want to. You're offering it as an organization. It's a good quality program, and that's just an add-on, but it's not why they should participate. So, the other thing a good employer can do to create a successful wellness program would be to communicate to their employees. We've had some organizations who, and I'm just speaking kind of anecdotally about our program, but who have said, oh yeah, we do that every year, but they don't put something out there to their employees about it, or that inform the employee base about the program or other programs that they're offering. And so communication is really key, and how they deliver it and I always say a positive in a positive fashion, and really let people know that healthy behavior should be rewarded and should be applauded because it's good for everybody. We are open for registration right now, and we are taking registrations. The neat thing about registration now is that they can sign up with a credit card. The team captains can sign up the whole team, or they can say, I want to pay by check and still sign up online. And what that has done for us is has eliminated so many errors, because oftentimes when people sign up on our paper entry form, which we still offer, but when they do, we can't read the emails. And so email addresses are critical to the program. I mean, in order, you could participate without an email address, but it's very difficult to.
You would miss out on all the weekly resources if you don't have an email address.
So it's critical that we have it. We don't sell the email list to anyone. In fact, it's a board policy of our board that we will not do that. So just want you to know that. But we're able to offer the program, and it's and all of our programs because of corporate sponsorship, and that's a model that has been successful for the Big Sky State Games as well as Shape Up Montana. And so Blue Cross Blue Shield of Montana has been a great partner of ours. They're the presenting sponsors, and then you can see our other sponsors, Billings Clinic, Shields, Montana News Station. So they work to promote it and help us with our incentive prizes and really help us out. 2 Medicine, Albertsons, Wendy's, Nutrition for the Future, and then we always want to thank our corporate sponsors of Big Sky State Games, our major sponsors, First Interstate Bank, Campgrounds of America, new this year Shield, and new also this year Blue Cross Blue Shield, our major sponsors. So we'd like to open it up for any questions you may have. Taryn, add anything that you want. But
we hope you sign up. We encourage you to get your employees involved. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, we're open to that right now.
So we didn't have any questions coming through the chat box, but again, if you have questions, you can press *6 to unmute your line and ask them over the line.
I think they're all.
All right.
They're all going to get a walk-in.
There you go. They've been
great.
They've been inspired. So for those of you that are still with us, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I know our office I'm at the State Office of Rural Health. We have a team and we're participating, and we're very excited about it. So if you're looking for this webinar later on, or you want to share the info presented today by Karen and Taryn, you can find it at this link that you can see right now on your screen. And I just wanted to give you a heads up. I will be sending out a short survey about RHI webinars, and your feedback is very important to us. So if you've got a minute to fill it out, that would be much appreciated. Thank you, Karen and Taryn, for the presentation. It was wonderful, and thank you all for joining us. And that's it for today. Have a wonderful afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.